He walked into the grand marble lobby with a mop in one hand and a bucket in the other. His uniform was old, shoes worn, and his face carried the kind of tiredness that doesn't come from lack of sleep but from life itself. Nobody noticed him. Nobody cared. To everyone in that glittering corporate tower, he was invisible. Just another janitor cleaning up after their expensive shoes. But tonight, that was about to change. And by the end of this story, you'll see why this man, this single father, deserved far more respect than the billionaire who mocked him. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay till the end, because trust me, you won't see this twist coming. His name was Daniel. Every night after his janitorial shift, he'd pick up his little daughter, Lily, from a small daycare run by a kind old lady in their neighborhood. She was 6, bright, full of questions, and the reason he woke up every morning. Life hadn't been kind to Daniel. His wife passed away during childbirth, and ever since, he'd been doing everything alone, changing diapers, making lunches, reading bedtime stories, and working multiple jobs to keep a roof over their heads. The world saw him as a nobody. But to Lily, he was everything. One rainy evening, Daniel was mopping the floor outside the CEO's office. Inside, the billionaire himself, Richard Crane, was celebrating another $1 million deal. The man was tall, arrogant, and dressed in a suit worth more than Daniel's entire year's salary. When he spotted Daniel standing outside the glass door, he frowned. "Hey, you," Richard said coldly, stepping out. "Be careful with that mop. I don't want you scratching the Italian marble. It costs more than your life." Daniel lowered his ISO and nodded respectfully. "Yes, sir." "Sorry, sir." Richard sneered. "You janitors are all the same. Always apologizing, never improving. Tell me, do you ever dream of doing something more with your life?" Daniel just smiled faintly. "I dream of giving my daughter a better one." The CEO laughed mockingly. "How touching. But dreams don't pay bills, my friend. People like you are meant to clean up after people like me." The room fell silent for a moment. Daniel wanted to say something, but years of humility had taught him to swallow pride instead of spitting it out. So he turned away and kept cleaning, letting the insult echo quietly inside his chest. But life, as it often does, had a strange plan waiting. A week later, the company announced a charity gala, a grand event meant to show off their compassionate corporate image. Daniel was ordered to work the night, cleaning up after guests. As he polished silver trays and swept floors, he saw the CEO shaking hands with wealthy donors, boasting about his humble beginnings. The hypocrisy made Daniel's stomach twist. At one point, Lily ran into the hall. She had insisted on coming with her dad since the daycare was closed early. The security guard had let her in, knowing Daniel couldn't afford a babysitter. She held a crayon drawing in her hand a picture of her and her dad holding hands, under the words, "My daddy is a hero." The sight melted a few hearts in the room. But not Richard's. He spotted her, frowned, and barked, "Whose child is this? This is not a playground." Daniel rushed over, embarrassed. "I'm sorry, sir. She's my daughter. She just wanted to." "I don't care," Richard snapped. "Get her out of here. People like you should know your place. This is a professional event, not a charity for janitors." The room went quiet. Guests whispered, some looking uncomfortable. Lily's eyes filled with tears. Daniel bent down, comforting her, whispering softly, "It's okay, sweetheart." As he lifted her up, her tiny hand brushed against his sleeve, revealing a tattoo on his forearm, something few had ever seen. The CEO's eyes caught it, and suddenly his confident expression faltered. His mouth opened slightly, as if he recognized it. The tattoo was small but distinct, a black eagle surrounded by a wreath and a crest bearing the letters HE Foundation. It wasn't a random symbol. It was the mark of the Hamilton Estate Foundation, one of the world's oldest and most secretive family trusts, known for its massive wealth. Richard's face turned pale. "Where did you get that tattoo?" he asked quietly. Daniel looked up. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." "Try me," Richard said, his voice suddenly shaking. Daniel sighed. That tattoo was given to every heir of the Hamilton family when they turned 18. I didn't want to be one of them. I left it all behind years ago to build a life based on something real, something honest. The room gasped. The Hamilton family name was legendary in business circles: old money, old power. Richard, as it turned out, had spent years trying to get an investment deal with the Hamilton Trust and had been rejected every time. And now, the man he'd insulted, mocked, and humiliated was one of them. "Wait, you're Daniel Hamilton?" Richard stammered. Daniel nodded slowly. "Was. Now, I'm just Daniel Miller. Janitor, father, human being. I traded my name for a chance to raise my daughter without that world's poison." The crowd whispered in awe. Cameras flashed. The arrogance on Richard's face crumbled completely. He tried to apologize, but Daniel simply turned away. "Money doesn't make you better," Daniel said softly. "It just shows who you really are when you have it." He walked out of the hall, Lily's tiny hand in his, as the guests watched in stunned silence. That night, the story of the billionaire CEO who insulted the hidden heir spread like wildfire. But Daniel didn't care. He wasn't after revenge or fame. All he wanted was peace and a good life for his daughter. Weeks later, he was offered countless opportunities to return to the business world. He refused most of them. Instead, he used a small part of his inheritance to open community shelters, fund schools, and provide free daycare for single parents like him. One day, a journalist asked him, "Why didn't you stay in the Hamilton Empire? You could have had everything." Daniel smiled. "I already do. I have her." He pointed at Lily, who was laughing, painting another picture, this one with brighter colors. "And that's the thing about people like Daniel. You can insult them, step over them, or ignore them, but you can't break them. Because their worth isn't measured by titles or money. It's measured by love, humility, and the courage to start again."